Google's just announced two huge updates to Performance Max, and these updates are going to have a big impact on your e-commerce sales. Performance Max is an asset, a campaign that's used by most of our clients, and if you're an e-com brand and you're not using Performance Max, you should. And this episode is going to share a little bit more about those updates and what it means for you. Welcome to Ad Spend Secrets. My name is Luke Smith. In this episode, we're going to go through two new updates from Google that have just come out over this last week. These I've been waiting on for a long time now. I've harped on about Performance Max and negative keywords, and we've been waiting for the ability to add negative keywords to our Performance Max campaigns for a while now. That's just come out. That's been announced already. That's rolling out across accounts as we speak. We've got it in a number of our accounts, and you should be able to reach out to a Google rep and get access to that early beta on your ad account if you don't have that already. That's been huge. That's a massive asset for Performance Max. However, in the last week, they've announced two new updates. The first one is overcoming one of the biggest issues with Performance Max, about Performance Max being a black box and people putting money into this campaign format on Google and not knowing where the money's going, whether it's going to search, shopping, display, Gmail. It just basically tells you how much it's spending every day and what the results were, which is okay, typically results are pretty good. But advertisers and media buyers and brand owners, they want to know where their money is going. And so in this update, we are getting finally channel performance breakdown. So we can see now, and I'll show you the exact documentation and I'll talk you through it, but we can see exactly where the money is going, whether it be search, shopping, Gmail, maps even. This is a big update for e-commerce brands. It's going to give us a lot of control. So this is update number one. Channel performance reporting helps you understand how your Performance Max campaign is delivering results across Google's full range of channels and inventory. So there's going to be a new channel performance page that will find campaign level performance summaries along with a new data visualization that makes it easier to dive into which channels you're engaging customers on and how they're contributing to your conversion goals. So obviously you want to make sure your tracking is set up so you can trust this data. Once you have full faith in that data, you are going to be able to see something like this, which will be in the insights and reports section of your Google ad account. And you'll see channel performance come up. It'll probably show up somewhere below auction insights and when and where ads showed. You'll see channel performance, and it's got a nice little journey pathway here. You can see where on the left hand side it's going to show you Discover, Gmail, Google Display Network, Gmail, and Maps, for example, where people are coming from, where they're clicking from. And it's going to show you the amount of impressions going to each of those channels, the amount of clicks, and most importantly, the amount of conversions. So previously, what we were having to do with e-com brands specifically, because with e-commerce, we want most of that activity to go to shopping placements or search placements. We find they're demand driven, they're high intent sort of platforms. And so we're having to do a bit of patchwork. We would go into a Performance Max campaign, we'd click into the asset group, we would click into the listing group and look at the amount of dollars spent on the listing group itself. And then we would compare that to the amount of money spent on that campaign as a whole, and say it was $6 spent on the listing group and the campaign has spent $100 as a whole. We could then determine that shopping placements had driven around 60% of that total campaign spend. We don't have to do so much patchwork anymore because Google will simply tell us how many impressions, how many interactions, and how many results are going to each. So the red flags we'll be looking for our e-commerce brands and how are you going to interpret this for your brand? Well, we still want most going to shopping and we still want most going to search because, like I said, it's demand driven. That's where the high intent activity is going to come from. So if you were to see this breakdown for your own business and you were to see most of it coming through Maps or Display Network or Gmail, that could be a red flag. That could mean that there's low quality, low value inventory eating up a lot of your impressions, clicks, and budget. And so that's something you would want to look to optimize away from, and see how you can optimize your shopping feeds and your asset groups to really gear that activity more towards those search and shopping placements. So that's how we would make decisions and interpret next steps based on this newly available data. Update number 2. This is probably an even big one in my mind, but we are getting search term breakdowns in a way that we've never seen before for Performance Max. We're going to get the same level of granularity that we were getting with standard shopping campaigns, where you would click search terms and you would get the full suite of impressions, clicks, cost, return on ad spend based on exactly what people are typing into Google. Now, Performance Max gave us some insights around this kind of data, but they would sort of group and categorize different search terms and call it, themes and search categories, and they would kind of group them together. It wasn't the full suite of activity that you're seeing coming through a campaign. Well, now we get negative keywords, which is rolled out recently. We get full search terms, so we can identify what keywords we want to exclude more easily. So those two paired together are extremely powerful. And we get the channel breakdown. So these three changes over the last 2-3 months in Performance Max mean that this format is here to stay in a big way. And with this kind of insight, honestly, I can see standard shopping getting phased out relatively soon. I don't know why brands would sort of stick with standard shopping if in most cases, as we're seeing, Performance Max is outperforming that campaign format, and you get the added benefit of automatic retargeting and different channel placements, and you still get the visibility over what people are searching when they're seeing your ad. So big changes. I think this can mean big things for your brand and your return on ad spend that you're seeing in Google. If you want somebody to jump in and help you interpret what you're seeing with your campaigns, just reach out at simplyconverting.com, and I'm happy to take a look at your account and see how you can optimize your Performance Max campaigns to make sure that you're getting the most out of your ad spend. Now, there's a few other little things that go along with this update, specifically around the actual ads that you're running and ways you can optimize those. So not only does it give you a channel breakdown with this new update, but you can break down your ads and you can see which ads are using product data, for example, as an e-commerce business, and which ads aren't. So if you're seeing YouTube activity and you're seeing stronger results, say, coming from YouTube activity that integrates your shopping feed versus YouTube activity that maybe doesn't associate your product data, then potential optimization could be looking at ways in which you can enrich your product data so it's more likely to serve in that placement, and just checking all of your campaign settings and things like that. So another little breakdown is ads using video. So again, we're being told by our Google reps quite frequently that incorporating vertical videos into your Performance Max, so YouTube short style creatives into your Performance Max campaigns, can help it obviously optimize across YouTube in a much more efficient manner. Not really a focus for us because, as I said, we want to push most to shopping and search where we can. But if you're seeing a lot of activity and good results coming from YouTube in this example, and that might be an opportunity or an insight that would have you lean into that next step, which may be, okay, let's get some videos produced more specifically for the YouTube placement, because we know all of our Performance Max is feeding into there here and there, and we can do better with video creative. It's more likely to convert if it's a dedicated video asset that we've built for that purpose. So you can enrich little things over time, and we're getting these format level breakdowns is what they're calling them here, so that you can get in-depth data around what's going on within your Performance Max campaign. They give you a nice little table here as well, where we should be able to see impressions, clicks, interactions, conversions, conversion value. You can export that into Excel if you need to share reports. And again, it breaks it down with ads using product data versus other ads. So, not product data related ads, static ads and the like. So big updates. Hope that was helpful. Wanted to get this out because this is quite exciting for a lot of our clients, and we're still sort of speaking to reps to make sure we can get this rolled out across accounts as quickly as possible. And I would suggest you do the same so that you can start taking advantage of this new update. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I'll make sure I make more like it.